Let's talk about the best beach clubs in Cozumel, Mexico. One of the most popular attractions among cruisers porting in Cozumel is to enjoy a day at one of the many local beach clubs, with more popular ones being Mr. Sancho's, Paradise Beach, Nachi-Cocom, and Chankanaab. Now, while the island does offer some public beaches, those free access areas, they aren't always desirable, and they're usually pretty darn rocky. Also, they offer no amenities unless you pay to rent umbrellas and chairs from a local vendor. In which case, by the time you add up all that cost, springing for a pass to a beach club may actually be a more appealing and even cost-affordable option. Now, what I like about Cozumel Beach Clubs is that most of them are located just a short 15 to 25-minute taxi ride from the 3 Cozumel cruise terminals. So let's talk about the top Cozumel beach clubs. Now, before we get into it, full disclosure, I am not sponsored by any beach club. I have visited all of these, some of them multiple times. I'm gonna give you my pros and cons and the things I also see on cruise message groups. So let's get into it. Let's talk about the top Cozumel beach clubs. Which Cozumel beach club is the best is a hotly contested question in the cruise world. But in my opinion, they're all really good. You really can't go wrong with any of them. But I wanna give you my top recommendations for Cozumel beach clubs based on, again, my own experiences and what I see on cruise groups online. It's important to note that prices can vary seasonally, so make sure you do consult each beach club's website for the most up-to-date pricing. I also encourage you to go online and consider booking in advance, because in some cases, they are limited in capacity and they can and do sell out. I will drop those links down in the description. And while it's not a requirement at any of the beach clubs that we're gonna talk about, it is pretty customary to tip your waitstaff at the end of your stay. Now, tipping is another hotly debated topic. I'm not gonna get into that in this video. That's a whole separate topic, but I do personally tip my waitstaff, and I know a lot of other cruisers do as well. First, let's talk about Paradise Beach. Of them all, Paradise Beach is probably my favorite of them all because it does offer a more laid-back vibe. It's all-inclusive and it provides you beachfront access for cruisers who want to enjoy a beach day, and they have a ton of large inflatable obstacle slides and floats for guests to use, although that does require the purchase of an additional VIP pass. If I'm traveling by myself and go to Paradise Beach, I don't spring for that. I don't use the inflatables, don't care, don't want it, don't need it. If I'm traveling with my children, however, I usually do pay for the VIP pass. That VIP pass also includes access to their stand-up paddleboards and their kayaks. And compared to a lot of the other beach club options that we're gonna talk about, Paradise Beach probably has one of the more extensive set of inflatables. The pool is large and well maintained, and there are a ton of loungers and umbrellas. I feel like every time I've been, no matter how crowded they are, I've never had to fight for one. These are available both poolside and beachside. So if you wanna be out in the sand, enjoying the ocean views and waves, you can. But if you wanna stay more toward the pool, which is what I usually do, you can go poolside. The music here tends to be upbeat and pleasant, giving to that kind of relaxing, beachy, tropical vibe, but it's not overwhelming. It's not the thumping bass, it's not that party music, and the party crowd here generally is pretty minimal. I like Paradise Beach because it does tend to be a little more family friendly, but also still suitable for adults. And the club will even provide parents of small children in diapers, because those kids in diapers are not allowed in the pool. They even have small inflatable kiddie pools that they will fill with water poolside, so babies and toddlers can enjoy those water activities as well. I think it's a really nice touch. Now, the only thing I don't really like about Paradise Beach is that their pool does not include a swim-up bar. Although there are waitstaff who are really great at walking around to see if there are any guests that are in the pool who want drink service, but it's not that traditional swim-up bar. I wish they had that, but they don't, but it's still a great option. They also, on their menu, while it is all-inclusive, they do not provide any dessert options, whereas some of the competitors do. I do generally tend to find all-inclusive food to be blah and kind of meh at best, and this was always the case on my many prior visits to Paradise Beach. As of a visit in late spring 2024, the club had a new chef, the food was completely revamped, completely new menu, and I will tell you, this is the first time I've been to an all-inclusive that I would actually say the food was good. My kids were impressed, my friend who was with me was impressed, it was actually really good. Optional amenities at Paradise Beach that are available for guests at a cost include banana boat rides, henna tattoos, and beachside massages. Now, I always treat myself to a massage at these beach clubs, and I will tell you, Paradise Beach has literally some of the best massages I've ever had in my life. Up next, let's talk about Mr. Sancho's. Mr. Sancho's is probably the most popular of the Cozumel beach clubs, and I do like it. But this is one that I prefer to visit when I'm cruising with other adults and friends rather than with my children. Why is that? Because this is definitely one of those clubs that's more associated with a party vibe compared to those other beach club options. Now that being said, it's not that Mr. Sancho's is not family friendly. I have taken my children there, and you'll certainly find lots of families and kids there, but it is more of a loud music, drink to excess crowd. It also tends to be a little bit more expensive than the other options, so consider that factor as well. Like Paradise Beach, Mr. Sancho's is all-inclusive, although they do have a non-all-inclusive option that's cheaper, and they boast 3 pools, a buffet, and personal wait service. So the options and amenities here is a little bit broader than you'll find at some of the other beach clubs, which is a huge plus. Like Paradise Beach, Mr. Sancho's offers a pass for an extra charge that allows guests to access a whole array of inflatables in the water. When it comes to the inflatables, Paradise Beach and Mr. Sancho's are pretty similar and much more expansive than Nachi-Cocom. Nachi-Cocom is definitely not your inflatable type of place. Now the advantages of this club are that they do have more pools than the other options, and you get both personalized wait service where a waiter will come around and attend to your needs, and they also have a buffet. The other options usually is just the wait service. Other amenities available at Mr. Sancho's for an additional cost include beach massages, horseback riding, jet skiing, and parasailing. As I mentioned at the start of this video, most of these beach clubs do not offer towels. Mr. Sancho's does, however, you have to rent them. And at $5 for the day with a $10 deposit, I think it's a little pricey. Plus those towels are really thin, so I recommend just bringing your own. Now let's talk about Nachi-Cocom. Nachi-Cocom is a little bit of a hidden gem among the Cozumel Beach Club scene because it doesn't seem to be as well known as the other two, being Paradise Beach and Mr. Sancho's. Now, admittedly, the facility here is much smaller and it does feel dated compared to the other options, but it still has a lot to offer, and I personally really like Nachi. A big advantage of this beach club is its exclusivity, as Nachi-Cocom limits admission to just 130 guests daily. So if you want to visit this one, make sure click that link down below and book it in advance. It often sells out. You'll want to get those in advance. It is all inclusive, so wait staff here, like the other options, are on hand to help serve you with whatever food and drinks that you would like. While Mr. Sancho's offers the big experience and that party vibe and things like inflatables, Nachi-Cocom, it's the opposite. This club is small and quiet. So if you're really looking for a chill, laid-back day at the pool or the beach, you want to read, you want to relax, this is your spot. Although Paradise Beach offers this experience as well. Of all the options in Cozumel, Nachi-Cocom is generally one of the more affordable ones. Now this is not the spot for lots of aqua activities. They don't have those inflatables, although they do have banana boat rides and parasailing available for an additional fee. But this is not the party spot. This is not the inflatable spot. If you want that, go to the other options. Like Mr. Sancho's, Nachi-Cocom also offers towels, again, for rent. Like Mr. Sancho's, they charge $5 each to rent, and they are, again, those really thin, kind of microfiber types of towels. I personally do not like them. I have rented them and had regrets. So if you are visiting this club, I recommend just bringing your own towels from the cruise ship. Of the 3 main beach clubs, Paradise Beach, Mr. Sancho's, and Nachi-Cocom, this one does have the most limited food options, and I do tend to like their food the least of them all. Still though, for its price value, laid back, quiet experience, and the exclusivity, knowing it's not gonna be romping with people, it's definitely a Cozumel Beach Club worth considering. So of the big 3, party scene, Mr. Sancho's, quiet, relaxing day, Nachi-Cocom, Paradise Beach, kind of in the middle. Let's talk about a 4th option that's usually not considered when we talk about Cozumel Beach Clubs, but it's another great choice as well. It's Chankanaab. Unlike the beach clubs that I've talked about, Chankanaab is more of a beach park versus a beach club, so it's a little bit different. Now, my first time ever in Cozumel, I did visit Chankanaab and I enjoyed it and I have great memories from it, but it's not really comparable to the beach clubs that I talked about. I almost consider this more of an excursion, and it's generally geared more towards families. Now, the upside of Chankanaab is the snorkeling. In my experience, the snorkeling here is far better than the other 3 beach clubs that we've talked about, especially given the Sargassum that tends to cloud the waters of Cozumel. Now, the downside is that this is not really a relaxing beach day experience that you're going to get at those other true Cozumel beach clubs. And Chankanaab, it does offer an all-inclusive option, which makes it more like a beach club, but that's a little misleading, and it's nothing like the true all-inclusive nature of the other big 3. Chankanaab's inclusive option provides only a buffet lunch with limited hours and a set limit of beverages. Chankanaab really is more of an amusement park. The grounds are beautiful. It offers tons of adventure activities, including an eco-archaeological tour, sea lion shows, and manatee, snuba, sea trek, swim with the dolphins, all this kind of stuff. But your experience there is going to differ quite a bit from a day at a Cozumel Beach Club. So when it comes to answering the question, which Cozumel Beach Club is the best, the answer is, well, it depends. It's quite subjective. It's going to depend on each cruiser's specific desires and needs and budget Having been to them all, I can assure you that they're all really good. They are. And no matter which one you choose, you can't go wrong. You're gonna have a great day. But it's worth considering the differences in experience, the difference in vibe. Read those reviews, consider what you've learned in this video before you make your choice. I do want to note that regardless of which choice you make, beware of the Sargassum in Cozumel. Cozumel is home to some beautiful, spectacular beaches with clean sands and warm water, and you can find these at all of Cozumel's beach clubs. But I want you to be aware that depending on the season, the water might be crystal clear and vibrant turquoise. However, don't be surprised if it's not. Why? Because this part of the world is prone to large amounts of sargassum, which makes its way to the shores of the Mexican Caribbean, including Cozumel, through complex ocean currents. So I can tell you that from personal experience that when sargassum is present in large quantities, it's very unpleasant. It's not a beach day. The water's cloudy, seaweed just feels gross on your body, and this is why beach clubs present a great option for cruisers. Because if you happen to visit at a time when the beach isn't at its best, those pools are a fantastic secondary choice. Now let's talk about getting to the Cozumel Beach Clubs. Taxis in Cozumel are readily available and they are a convenient way to explore the island. All 3 cruise piers in Cozumel have really well-run taxi stands. You don't have to think or do anything in advance. You get off your ship, you walk to the end of the pier, to the exit area, you'll find a taxi stand. Their employees are on hand to help you ensure that you get to where you're going. Even if you don't speak Spanish, you're gonna be fine. Unlike other ports like St. Thomas or Grand Cayman, where taxis are shared and, in my opinion, way overpriced, taxis in Cozumel are private and only for you and your group. Like many other Caribbean ports of call, rideshare services like Uber are not available, so you kind of have to take a taxi if you don't buy an excursion. For cruisers traveling with a larger group, don't worry, because there are generally taxi vans right there, readily available at the stands, offering you a convenient and affordable option to get to all of the popular tourist destinations, including the beach clubs that we talked about in this video. And to return back to port after visiting a beach or attraction, in most cases, again, taxis are on standby. They're right there to get cruisers right back to their ships. So taxis are a reliable option for getting around Cozumel, whether heading to the beach, exploring, or doing anything else. Taxis are regulated, they're safe. I've traveled by myself with my child and by myself solo, and I've never had a problem or felt concerned or worried at all. Taxi prices are also set and regulated, but still, travelers should always confirm fares before starting their journey just to make sure that they have a hassle-free experience. Simply confirm the price before you get into the taxi and determine whether or not they take cash, and if they do take cash, if it's US dollars or if it's pesos, or if they take credit cards. It's important to note that in my experience, most of the taxis in Cozumel do not accept credit cards, although in my experience, US currency has almost universally been accepted. However, don't make that assumption. Always confirm before you get in that taxi cab. Taxi prices in Cozumel are government regulated, they're fixed, and I find them to be quite affordable compared to other popular cruise ports of call. The set prices should be readily available on signs near those taxi stands at each cruise pier. And on a recent visit to Cozumel in 2024, docking at Puerto Maya, for example, taxi prices for up to 4 passengers one way were as follows to some of Cozumel's most popular destinations. Downtown San Miguel was $10, Chankanaab was $15, Paradise Beach $18, and Mr. Sancho's and Nachi-Cocom were both $20.